This is basic only, the challenge where I can only use a crossbow basic attack and aim to get through to the end game of POE 2 despite the odds being stacked against me. Hello and welcome back. As you saw, straight through to Act 2. I just want to get this out of the way very quickly. Yes, the melee basic attack is very viable and I know you can use other gems to buff it. I've seen people make a fairly strong build with buffing their melee basic attack, but however, if you'd like to see a very poor basic attack, welcome to the channel. The crossbow basic attack has a lot of limitations, but it does excel on one thing however, and that is single target raw physical damage, which is great in one situation, but in a lot of them it's very bad because it does very much struggle to deal with a lot of AoE and I have no elementals, this, that and the other, a lot of limitations. Also, thank you everyone for the positive feedback in the first episode. I genuinely really appreciate all of it and it means a lot to me, and thank you so much to all the new subscribers. So anyway, let's get back into episode 2, which gave me my biggest challenge yet. Now, I set up a few goals for each act, and here's ones for Act 2. 1. I need to get my elemental resistances up to as close as max as I could possibly get. 2. I need to find a stronger weapon, as items are the only real way to power up my character, aside from leveling. 3. I want to get through this as fast as possible, as it's taken an extremely long time to clear mobs, and it took me hours to do Act 1. So I'd like to get a move on, or I'll never complete this challenge. So things are going smoothly, I found Wrathbreaker's Den, and then this happened. Mate, give it a rest, how am I going to do this? What you just watched was just over 11 seconds for you, but for me, it was about 40 minutes. So yep, that's goal number 3, already over. So you see the problem with this boss is that he has a lot of hyenas around him, and I don't know if you've heard me complain about it before, but my build really struggles with AoE, making this boss the surprise villain of Act 2. But I was swapping to Bleed for my build, as I noticed I ended up doing more damage than Venom did, at least with my character and my build. This combined with the fact that it would take off 90% of my HP if I didn't dodge his attack every single time, and there was a horde of hyenas behind me that if they hit me once, I would get slowed a little bit and would put me in danger of getting one shot. So a quick thing to note is also that when I tested it, Chain did not work in my basic attack, however I do believe that Pierce is the best thing for me with this boss. Now, I was getting genuinely kind of concerned I would have to give up on the challenge early, but I wouldn't let my negative thoughts get in the way, and after that, I had this try that you're watching now. Let's go, I can do this. Please be it. Yes! 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 I don't even care that I die now. Finally done it. I've beaten the unlikely roadblock that was Wrathbreaker, and I guarantee you I'm the first person in history to struggle on this boss. Not an accolade I was looking for to pick up with this run, but an accolade nonetheless. Unfortunately, with me dying afterwards, I didn't get any of the items he dropped, but I did have some choice words as a send-off for him. Yeah, they're gone. Well, I don't care. I'm over it. I've done it. Fuck that guy. Oh, fantastic. Moving on from that slight obstacle, I struggled my way through Morden. Continuing on, I in fact struggle with anything that's put in front of me. I found Morden's Mine, and honestly, after beating Wrathbone, I felt like nothing could stop me. Oh, oh, oh. If you guys are enjoying the content and want to see how far I can take this challenge, consider subscribing. Right, I reckon I'm going to be a first try. Oh. Despite my head not being in the right place after that Wrathbreaker fight, I still managed to beat her first try. Nice one, first try. Good feeling about this chest. I used an orb to upgrade it, and it actually was a very small improvement, so I was right about the chest, kind of, I guess, slightly. Anyway, I hit level 20 off some trash mobs, and here's my skill tree that I forgot to show you in the first episode. Level 20! So on the left there are my notable nodes that I've gotten, and my build may look a bit weird, and that's because it is. My aim was to head straight to the bottom to get some key passives that I thought would be really good for this challenge, and I was going to have a completely different starting build and respec, but I actually haven't played in a while, as it takes me quite a long time to make these videos, and I kind of forgot about the whole respecing thing. Yeah, well, that's my build. It'll change. I wonder what's in here. So I find the Helani gates, but I didn't find Balbala before, so I went to get the raid point and I head back. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm really not. I was certain I'd struggle and die against Balbala, so I charged onwards with no fear back to the shops to see if I could find any better gear, but I had no luck. So I gave the fight a go anyway. Balbala's a tough boss, but I like her design, apart from when she summons ads. She's got a move which will go invisible and you've got to find her before the poison takes you, and she's proficient at throwing daggers, magic, and being a nuisance. Oh, she's taking no damage before, man. This is the slowest fight ever. To show you how slow my boss fights are, this is a minute's worth of damage from me. It's really depressing, and here's the before and after. Please, come on. Oh, for f***'s sake. Okay. Oh, that was close. Well, it wasn't that close, but that took, what is it, like 7-8 minutes? Something like that? Oh, ridiculous. Then we pick up Balbala's Barrier. Just try saying that 5 times fast. Which lets us do our Ascendancy challenge, and I'm not going to do it right away because I wouldn't be able to do it, and I want rewards from it, so I shelved it for a little bit later. Oh, and I got a new hat. Just kidding, let's do it now. So the trials are a bunch of different rooms with different challenges. They could be trickier than normal, but they give you something very important, an Ascendancy. And I'll explain what that is later on. So the trial begins, and unlike people in the smoking area of the Weatherspoons, I'm not really looking to fight anything here. This is because there's a ridiculous mechanic in these trials, which is your honour. And your honour, you can see at the bottom. So taking any damage will result in it being permanently damaged, and you can only restore it if you take a certain action at the end of the trial. So to try to maximise my chances, I've figured I may as well just run through everything and try not to fight it. Escape trial, get the bronze key. Again, zero interest in fighting anything in these ones. Well, onto the big boss man. I hope he doesn't have 50% extra health, but I should be fine. Should be fine. Oh, wait, what am I doing? 2 minutes. Oh, this attack sucks. Oh, this is the area of death over here. I think I've got him. Pretty much, unless I fuck up, should be dead. So low. Get in! Jumlin's usually better, but I think it's going to have to be Witch Hunter. With the help of Balbala, we beat him, but unfortunately we didn't get any loot worth showing, which is a shame. But most importantly, we get the power of Ascendancy. Now, Ascendancies are extremely powerful talents that you can get specifically made for your hero. And luckily for us, the Merc has a very, very useful Ascendancy we can use. So yeah, Witch Hunter we went for in the end, and this is why the talent I ended up going for off the bat is insanely good for the character. Here it is. All my complaining about not having enough AoE, and now we've got this ability which is super exciting and may actually just be the key enabler for our build to be able to get through to the late game. And also the later upgrades as well, if we manage to get there, will be extremely strong too. So all we got to do is keep going through now. Anyway, we return now to Helani Gates and we get our first proc off of being a Witch Hunter. From here you'll start to see that I employ a strategy that I learnt from Max Holloway called the stand and bang, where I inform my position that they lack the required minerals and I funnel them into a choke point and shoot them all at once. I use a lot of health flasks, but I am able to shoot more at a time. Less than a minute later I employed my second highly advanced strat that I learnt from my childhood called Ring Around the Rosie, where I am the one who lacks the required minerals and runs around in a circle until I win in a stunning display of masculinity. Oh, whoops. Please everyone in the comments feel free to shower me with adoration for finally remembering to gem swap at the start of a fight rather than halfway through. Janmara here isn't really difficult, but as a recurring theme goes, he just takes a long time. I chose to keep this part in because the way I edit things, usually 3 minutes of what you watch is about an hour of gameplay / editing combined. I do want you to realise that all these boss fights take about 10 minutes each, which doesn't sound too much, but if you've, you know, play it yourself and factor in how long a boss fight usually takes, it's probably not that much longer than 1 or 2 minutes.
Make haste. He must not escape.
I can't just leave, can he?
Well, he's still here. We try to follow after him, but we're not wearing appropriate beach attire, so we go back to the caravan to rethink our plan. I really struggle against these shield bearers, so the first thing I do is lure them over to the guards to help me whittle them down. And here I get a shiny new ring, probably one of the first item upgrades I've actually got in Act 2. I found myself in a very tight spot here, but I just about managed to get out with a sliver of HP remaining, and I was really chuffed with that. But in the end it meant nothing, as this goes and happens. Following after that, we stumble into the first of 3 bosses that we need to kill to acquire parts of the Horn of Vastiri. The Horn of Vastiri is what we need to be able to progress through the sand wall that Gemara casted for some reason. Anyway, we killed the Kebab Bros. Anyway, we killed the Kebab Bros. Oops, sorry. We killed the Kebab Bros. Okay. We kill the Kebab Brothers. Finally. Anyway, we move on to an even bigger prey. A rare beetle. Yeah, you can see that I'm really struggling in Act 2. Getting only a ring so far has been really detrimental to success, and we even have to run away, desperate for some new gear. Then I came back and oh my god, the beetles. I completely forgot about the beetles. I nearly died, that would have been so embarrassing. So we find Kabbalah, a side boss, but she proved to be a very big challenge. With our lack of damage we fought against her, but ultimately we just came up short. We tried to stick out for as long as possible, but ultimately we just had to run away. There's too many ads. This run was starting to look more and more difficult by the second. But then, it happened.
Take your time.
I'd found it. I'd finally found it. My holy grail. My first real gear upgrade of Act 2. This was huge for the character. I could finally fight back against Rayclust, and I could even tick off the first goal that I set for myself. With a bit of pep in my step and a brand new weapon in my hands, I was ready. So we head back immediately to take on Kabbalah again, who actually doesn't regenerate her HP, which is a bit cheesy, but we'll take it. Even though I had the upgrade to my weapon, I didn't play the fight particularly well, and it comes down to the wire, leaving me with no fast charges left in the end. Killing her drops a book of specialization, which grants us 2 skill points that I put into some extra pierce in the skill tree for some more AoE. It's around this time that you'll start to notice that I'm shooting and moving much slower. This is because I actually started to get RSI from constantly having to tap the right mouse button. So you'll start to see me use the one good strat I had going for me much less than before. Cannot believe I got a genuine physical debuff to me IRL for such shameless bug I'm using. But oh well, we keep going. I get myself a new hat, finally getting me some good upgrades to my gear. After dispatching the waste above, we go into the Lost City and find this beetle that I couldn't kill with his regenerate life ability. And here we come up against Azarian, the Forsaken Sun. Really cool part of his design is that he punishes you for fighting him slowly, where he'll make the vast majority of your arena engulfed in flames, so you only really have a tiny spot to stand on. And I didn't do much damage, so this should be fun. The only saving grace I have is that I have a fairly high fire resist, at least compared to my other resistances. You'll probably notice 2 things here. One was that it's given me a very hard time and got me low quite a few times, but another was that I changed up my bug scatter shot for martial tempo because I was just actually putting quite a bit of strain on my finger doing that strat. So I opted out to do a bit more damage at the cost of mobility. The fight was closer than I thought it'd be, but we killed this guy, then set the water goddess, also known as his mum, on fire, but we don't care as we loot her dead body while she's still warm and get the second piece of the Horn of Vastiri. I hope it's worth it. Moving on, we go to the Valley of the Titans. This giant in the wall has the same expression that I had for most of this run. Then I got caught unawares by this worm and I'm still salty about it. After getting what we need from the valley, we head into the Titan Grotto. An absolutely awful place to be in, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now I say that for 2 reasons. The first being that it took me ages to navigate and clear out the mobs, taking me over 30 minutes just to get through the map. And reason number 2, well, I've not been entirely honest with you. At the start of this video, I told you that Wrathbreaker was the secret villain of Act 2. That was a lie. A big lie. Wrathbreaker was just a warm-up to this next boss. The memory of this next boss makes me shudder as I'm editing this video. I'll show you. You probably remember fighting this boss for the first time. I will never forget fighting this boss, ever. I thought he'd be a tough obstacle to overcome, but nothing would prepare me for this. Just watch.
Fuck! There's literally no point. He one-shots me. I don't even know where he's going.
Come on. Don't choke. God. So close. Please. 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 Yes. Yes. Oh, fuck you, you piece of. Never. Oh my fucking god. Never want to. Never in my life. Off you. Fuck. Oh my god. That guy. Him. Could you tell I was happy to be finally done with him? So a little challenge for you guys is whoever in the comments can guess the closest to how many deaths this character has right now and how long it took for me to beat the Titan boss. If you wish, I'll flash your name up on the next video because it is a shocking amount. The only 3 bosses in video games that have taken longer to kill are Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, Millennia, Blade of Miquella, and Pinwheel. Moving on, I confirm Jeweler's Orbs don't work. I get a new chest piece with a bunch of resistances, and this makes me very close to completing my second goal of getting my resistances up. I also do a side quest that busts my charms, which is okay I guess, better than nothing, and I also get the horn and blow it, which allows us to move on to the next section. So in the next section we find Hugin and Munin, which I'm sure some of you fellow nerds will notice that they're named after Odin's ravens. This fight wasn't particularly difficult due to its repetitive nature, but I was always one mistake away from death, as they just wore me down most of the time, and they had that horrible siphon effect. So from that fight we got our second ascendancy. Now this time I genuinely did hold on to it for a little bit as I really struggled doing it on my first character doing this, but what I had forgotten is that they had actually nerfed the ability of the ascensions, meaning that I probably had a pretty decent chance at doing it at the level I'm at now, but don't worry, we do come back to this soon. We get some really satisfying procs up on your ascendancy, which almost makes playing this build worth it, and then we go on to find the shrines, which give us a +10 permanent lightning resist, which is super nice to have, and it also gives us XP in the shape of an ambush, which we actually managed to defeat. The last encounter for this area has us find Janmara again, and his pet Torgal, and if I haven't mentioned it before, I really love this game's boss design, and that includes Torgal here. I actually particularly like his attack animations, as they range from him just smacking his head against us as hard as he can, to powerful flame attacks and even necromancy as well. But at the end he is still quite a fairly easy boss, so on our very first try we come out victorious as usual, as I haven't struggled once in Act 2 so far. So at this point we've done everything we needed to in Act 2 to start making our way to the big boss, which as you've seen before will be Janmara. So we hop onto the Dreadnought to go and sort him and his missus out, but making progress on the Dreadnought is extremely slow. This is due to the Dreadnought being full of narrow passageways, which was then guarded by either resilient shield bearers or enemies that would just jump past everything to get to you. Total nightmare. But make progress we did. I am very grateful that we had our companion, whose name I always forget, and my witch hunter's ascendancy to help me out here. Off to a terrible start. That starting move had made me think, what if Janmara is worse than both Wrathbreaker and the Titan combined? But rather than worry about it, I fought onwards, trying my best to delay my flash charges for as long as possible and gem swapping as I go. That and the fact that I just managed to get my elemental resistances up enough to the point where I could comfortably survive Janmara. I've actually just looked at his name in editing and realised I've been pronouncing it very wrongly the entire time. But I don't want to delay this video getting out any longer than it has been, so please just accept my deepest apologies. I'm not going back to change it, I've said it too many times now. We pop his second stage and we tumble down into the second arena, which happens to knock out our companion in the process. Usually I wouldn't even notice this, but Jamandra has high armor, and every gem I used to break his armor down didn't actually end up doing more DPS. I don't know, trust me, I tried quite a few things. So, turns out my companion probably wasn't actually doing that much less DPS than I was, but oh well. Anyway, in this stage, it's not just about dodging his attacks, it's about dodging, well, his attacks and literally everything on the map. Tornadoes to portals to random lightning to big sword attacks, Jamandra had it all. But we had basic attacks in a dream. Whilst I am a bit miffed that we did a boss fight for over 10 minutes while she just snoozes and wakes up just for the last hit, but a dub is a dub. And the plot twist that everyone saw coming is that the hooded figure is Sin from POE 1, and he is still just as bad at doing his job.
I am a god.